Wow, I tell you what, 17th century life in the colonies along the east coast of America must have been brutal, because guys, this book packs a hell of a gut punch. What's up guys, welcome back to Unlimited Reads. My name is Chris and today I'll be giving another book review as part of June on the Range, the most excellent reading project created by prominent booktuber Michael K. Vaughan. Now this week I continued with the Sackett Saga, written by Louis L'Amour. I picked it up with the second book, To the Far Blue Mountains, as Barnabas Sackett's story continues. So the start of this book picks up a year since the events of the last book. We find Barnabas Sackett in England, very much a wanted man by the Queen of England, because if you remember me speaking about it in the last book, Barnabas Sackett happened to come across a leather purse filled with Roman coins. Now because he sold those coins, the particular transaction came to the attention of the Crown, and now the Queen believes that Sackett is in possession of King John's treasure, which went missing in the same vicinity as where Sackett found the coins. So there's a price on his head. He needs to be captured, imprisoned, and or hung in the town square. So Sackett does go to prison and he manages to escape, but he has to get on a boat from England to America as soon as possible, because he is desperate to catch up with his friends and Captain Tampani and his beloved Abigail, his future wife. Now along the way he picks up an unlikely companion in Lila, who happens to be Abigail's servant, and she believes there is nothing there for her in England. She wants to hitch along. She harbours a sense of adventure as well and wants to make a new life in the new world. Now Sackett strongly resists and protests, because he believes the voyage and the adventure is too dangerous. But it turns out that Lila is very formidable in a fight and very good with a sword. But not only that, an interesting trait that Lila has as a character is she has the gift of second sight. Now this is where Louis L'Amour very, very cleverly foreshadows future events for further books in the series, because he has her predict for Sackett how many kids he's going to have and what life is in store for them, which would no doubt prove to be accurate as the series goes on. And eventually Sackett does have 4 sons and 1 daughter. So he has Kinring, Yance, Jubal, Brian, and daughter Noel. So eventually both Sackett and Lila find a boat or a ship to go to America, but Sackett has to disable the captain and usurp his authority and assume command of the ship and try and rein in a new crew. So there's all sorts of high sea adventure before they actually get to America. And they do catch up with Abigail and their friends, and it's not long before they start to make a new life in America. But it's not without its perils. Even though Sackett befriends a friendly tribe of Indians who they trade with and they integrate with, there are a lot of Indian enemies in America, and it's very heavily illustrated with violence and Indian fighting, and it is absolutely brutal. There are a lot of character deaths which really hit you in the feels, because you do develop a good rapport for these characters, and the ending in particular was very brutal and sad, and certain characters didn't get closure from events that happened, which I'm not going to spoil here, but it was a very emotional ending to the book, particularly with how lives are changed and what actually happens and how life does go on. But eventually Sackett does see and goes to the Blue Mountains that he fantasized of, and there is just so much conflict in this book. Louis L'Amour is great at writing fight scenes. You know, Sackett has to contend with violent Indians and still the people that are hunting him from England as well. But it's non-stop adventure. I was on the edge of my seat the whole way through. I'm really looking forward to reading more of the Sackett series. In fact, at the time of filming this, I have actually just started The Warrior's Path, which is book 3 in the series, which focuses on 2 of Sackett's sons who start a whole new adventure in this book. And there are the next few books, I think books 4 and 5, are also set in around the 1620s and 1630s before the series jumps straight into the 19th century, before the Civil War, which is going to be very interesting to see how this family's dynasty evolves over time. But I did say in my last video that I was going to read The Streets of Laredo by Larry McMurtry over the next couple of weeks, but unfortunately my plans have changed again. Because I'm having such a good time with the Sackett Saga, I've decided to read more Sackett books for the rest of the month, because it's just too good. If you haven't picked up the Sackett Saga, I thoroughly recommend you do it, because even though the writing is from the 70s and 80s, it is the writing is like Louis L'Amour was a writer before his time, and yeah, it's not an archaic or boring language that's used in the books that you would expect for the time period depicted, but it's very well written, and the characterization is fantastic. Even the secondary characters are large as life, so he gives ample page time to all the characters. And yeah, how this ended really punched me in the gut. So it was a very, very emotional ending to this book, but the adventure picks up with Sackett's two sons, and I'm looking forward to seeing how the rest of the series turns out. I'm hoping by the end of June to have read at least 7 or 8 of these brilliant novels. And for someone who hasn't read Western fiction in the past, since reading Lonesome Dove last year, I became very, very intrigued by the genre, and I'm certainly not disappointed with the Sackett books, and I'm glad I've chosen that series to read as part of this project. And no doubt I'll be reading more Sackett books after the project has finished, because I'm enjoying it so much. So there you go, guys. That is it for my review of To the Far Blue Mountains. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. As always, offer up any feedback in the comments below. I'll always respond to that. And until the next video, which won't be far away, I'll see you later.